Last year, when the APBA Powerboat Tour visited Baltimore, major storms had washed tons of debris into the inner harbor and river, causing over $150,000 worth of boat damage. This year, there were no storms, but the trash still had its say, inflicting boat damage and costing national point standings. More than 50% of the 100 starters suffered some sort of damage or other. The Factory 3 class came down to a two-boat race between two 36-foot skater catamarans, F312 Peppers and F367 Team Tellium. With the father and son team, George and Michael STANCOMB, holding on to win their second consecutive race after a layoff of 2 years. Michael said the boat was flawless. Dad and I are having a riot out there at the moment. This was Dad's version.
Well, we worked hard and long to get here, so it wasn't an overnight success. You know, it only took 10, 15 years of racing, so, you know, it's, thank heavens we made it, but hey, it took a lot of work.
In the Factory 4 class, Team Boathouse got no further than the start line. Flowmaster retired on lap 4, leaving Critical Lift, Blondie and Citra Shine to slug it out to the finish line. Critical Lift driver Ted Zolli said after the race, "We had the edge in speed down the straights, but lost the advantage in the corners. It was certainly exciting racing. The water got really confused as it went along, and that suited the setup of our boat. We saw Blondie and Citra Shine stand up a little at times, but in the bigger boat, we were able to stay on the throttles for the rest of the journey." Blondie, a 30-foot skater with twin Mercury engines producing 600 horsepower, came second, just 1 mile per hour slower than Critical Lift. That's a 36-foot skater with 3 Mercuries producing 900 horsepower. It does seem odd, but as Zolli said, if you take a close look over the season, smaller boats can be faster in rough water. And so to the blazing guns of Supercats, the most exciting concept in offshore powerboating for more than 30 years.
It was quite an embarrassment to get lapped in a race, and to be honest with you, it's the first time it happened to me, and probably first time it ever happened to Felix. So rest assured, we're going to be running real hard against you and Jared. We'll be all right this race, I promise.
The Baltimore course. It's short, it's calm, and has very tight turns. That means it needs top acceleration. The team that's worked the most on that in Supercat is Team Extreme.
We've had some tough problems here in the first few races, and I think that we're starting to get everything worked out. Wyatt Cox did a fantastic job for us. What I'm looking for is just a little bit more experience in the corners.
This race also marks the return of offshore veteran Jack Carmody, teaming up with Jackson in Credit One USA.com Extreme.
Dan's been getting used to it. He's got several races under his belt, and I think we're ready to go out and push it to the limit.
The start of the race is spectacular. Huge rooster tails highlighted against the blackened backdrop of an electrical storm brewing on the Baltimore skyline. On the water, Felix Sorales and Pat Patel, Don Q, crystal number 88, are the first to show. However, few of the spectators are aware that Fuller and Gilbreth, fountain Mercury number 76, have been penalised with the requirement of adding 500 pounds of weight to the boat. And that follows their runaway victory at St. Clair. The idea? is to bring parity one step nearer. Not surprisingly, Gilbreth has his own version. At the halfway on lap 1, Don Q and Fountain Mercury are joined by Relief Band and Jelly Belly in a serious head-to-head confrontation for the lead. But as the foursome head for home for the first time, Fuller and Gilbreth find a little extra in spite of all that added weight, and they go in front for the first time. But all that changes as they head for the flattest section of the course. The penalty of the extra weight begins to bite. Fuller and Gilbreth can no longer sustain the required lift from the catamaran. They are stuck like glue to the surface, and Don Q once again edges ahead. Former world champion Sorales takes full advantage, and Don Q's throttles remain wide open. The emergence of Charlie Hames' 40-foot skater relief band has delighted the Florida driver. Secret practice and boat setup sessions are paying off handsomely. They're in third. 20 seconds behind, the Bowling brothers Rick and Ryan are the only non-skater running in the top 6 as they edge their 30-foot talon into fourth. Keith Holmes and Barry Glovick, number 19, Cat Can Do, and Todd Carroll with co-driver Lenny Hill, number 22, Holiday Inn, drop back in 6th and 7th as both begin to experience mechanical gremlins. At the front though, Patel and Sorales are looking good for their first and most timely win of the season, while Fuller and Gilbreth are joined by an ebullient Charlie Hames, now stoking up the 40-foot skater to within a few feet of the championship leader's transom. But it won't last. While Rick and Ryan are almost gone again, Jack Carmody extracts a few extra horses from the extreme, and Todd Carroll, in spite of an overheating engine, joins in the fun with his own hospitality. Then suddenly, Don Q is also losing power. A few hundred missing revs, thanks to the debris, offers Fuller in second place renewed hope. Almost simultaneously, Hames' rapid dash to the front is also pegged back. A broken weld in his case, and he will eventually become the third victim of the top 6. But not without a fight. Running alongside Fountain Mercury and then in front is the moment so far to savour in his season. And he makes the most of it before finally succumbing. As the race nears its end, and all around are falling thick and fast, Extreme is presented with an opportunity. And while it's not a golden one, there's a certain hint of bronze about it. And the way things are going, might be more. Now, everyone apart from Fuller 76 and Jackson 43, it seems, has a problem, including Patel and Sorales, who watched their mid-race winning lead short-circuiting in the electrical atmosphere. Hames finally grinds to a halt. Fuller and Gilbreth sense victory, homing on to Patel's ailing skater like a panther on its prey. Big Jack is definitely back now, picking up the pieces, but also noticeably picking up the pace on the turns. He's at least 10 miles an hour quicker than the rest in that department. Maybe Buffalo next round, here we come. The Bowling boys, number 7, no strike for them this time, but a useful fourth will mean useful points. And there's no doubt where the happiest crew are, and they're not in Don Q. Carmody eases up on the throttles. No point in showing all your cards on your first outing. While Fuller and Gilbreth don't have that problem. In spite of their penalty, they wear a smug look and covet a snug feeling about the whole thing. Are you happy now, was the inevitable question the APBA officials were asked, following another comprehensive win.
We did not have the best boat. We were not the fastest. Fortunate for us, relief band broke. He would have beaten us, and Don Q slowed down at the end. If he hadn't slowed down, I think both of them could have beaten us. So it took everything we had. We started cutting the corners super close, carrying a lot more speed. We're almost on the edge of being dangerous, trying to gain every second lap we could just to catch them.
Normally these boats are supposed to go faster at the end of the race. You lose the gas, and the boat should go faster. We were going slower. We apparently thought we had an engine problem, or as Felix said, the tab problem. Maybe the other one went down. And sure enough, when we pulled it out, we apparently hit something in the harbor. It must have been a telephone pole because it was pretty wide, and white bolted the skegs out. We're lucky that we didn't have a serious accident after those chunks were out. It was a defining moment in that we realized immediately what the problem was, and it saved a lot of other grief for a lot of people.
Pat Patel revealing he was robbed by the trash, but what of the comeback kid?
Fountain was able to slide into our left and kind of took the lane we thought we had, and so we had to go wide, keep from getting tangled up in the first turn. But after that, we were able to make up a lot of ground, and all through the race was able to gain a little bit on each lap. I think if Dan and I had one race under our belt, that we could have took this one.
Everybody squeezed everybody a little bit. To me, that's racing. You know, I think it's racing, and I don't think anybody did anything to us without a line at all. Yeah, they cut me off, they blocked me, they hosed me down. They did a hell of a job, and I have no hard feeling. That's racing.
So Fuller and Patel steam on inexorably, it would seem, towards the Supercats Millennium Trophy. Maybe only Michael Allwise and his forward-looking team can save the rest now.